Hey Wargamers, last night at LVO, Games Workshop did their Warhammer preview for the event, and we found out a bunch of really cool stuff. And I was going to do a video on this last night, but I figured no, sleep on it, let it kind of percolate and figure out something actually to say about this. And so that's what we're going to do today, is go over this preview and kind of just share my thoughts on some of the releases. So we'll just start at the top here. For Age of Sigmar, we have new battle tomes for every Grand Alliance coming. Not anything too surprising there. That's pretty exciting. Get some new stuff in there. Blades of Corn are coming. That's great. And it includes a new Skulltaker model, which is fantastic. I'm not going to say a whole lot about the Age of Sigmar stuff just because that's not primarily the focus of this channel, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate the models here because they look fantastic. And, I can really see pretty much all these endless spells here being incorporated into a 40k army in some way or another. They're just awesome. So that's awesome. And then we have some Forbidden Power coming for Age of Sigmar, and that's just going to be a new expansion to the Soul Wars box so far. So basically a new vault of Sigmarines are opening up, and so we'll see what that actually entails. I have no idea what that could actually be, just because I'm not super into that model range, so I don't know really what they're missing at this point. One of the bigger things that they announced is this Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, which I think is kind of confusing, and I want to pause on this for just a moment and talk about it because it's essentially a hybridization of Kill Team and Warhammer Underworlds, or Shadespire, if you're familiar with that name. And I think that's a little confusing because I always kind of thought that Shadespire was kind of the Age of Sigmar equivalent of Kill Team, and that a lot of the things that were in Shadespire were incorporated into Kill Team, and they kind of used Shadespire as a testing ground for Kill Team. And so now they are going back and producing a proper kind of Kill Team for Age of Sigmar, I guess. And they're calling it Warcry, which is cool, but there's just so many products here, right? And I'm not ever going to complain about Games Workshop releasing a greater array of products, but this seems like it kind of confuses the market space a little bit, just trying to figure out exactly what game does what and who it's supposed to appeal to and what models go where. I think there's some confusion and some uncertainty associated with bringing out a new system like this and wedging it in the current lineup. I kind of liked the symmetry and the simplicity of having Shadespire and Kill Team and Age of Sigmar and 40k, and now we're adding another type of skirmish game to Shadespire or to Age of Sigmar. Granted, we had Necromunda, which is kind of the same thing. A little bit of a blurring of the lines between systems, and so maybe this isn't anything new. But I kind of am getting to the point where I'm wondering what the takeaway is. Where are we supposed to land on these things, and where are we supposed to be spending our time with each of these products? So the next thing is for Warhammer Underworlds. They're coming out with a new warband, which is Sylvaneth themed. It's the spites, basically. So they are like wood elves merged with dryads, and that's cool. And some new models coming along with that, which is awesome. But this kind of gets me to the point where I'm thinking that maybe we're just not going to see wood elves. Not that this is indicative of that or not, but just on this note, I kind of wonder if we're going to see wood elves or not. I can see some of those models fitting in with a more generalized elven force, like maybe the Hunters or the Sisters of Thorn. Those could blend in with something that's a little bit more high elven. But for wood elves themselves, I kind of wonder if we're just going to get the Sylvaneth line and a lot of those original wood elf things like Way Watchers, like Warhawk Riders, like War Dancers are just going to go by the wayside. So you can see the Spite Revenants here. Really amazing sculpts. Shadow Spear is a new box set coming out for 40k. Much like all the previous box sets, this is something that's just a collection of armies. And there's a few things that I want to point out about it. First is that the models in it are going to be fantastic. So this is basically a scout-themed force of Primaris, and consequently, it's going to be all brand new models. So all the Primaris and all of the Black Legion models are brand new. And so we have this fantastic looking librarian, which is just, I think this is probably the coolest librarian I've ever seen. I wonder why he needs to have kind of like a leather breastplate over his power armor, but you know what? Fine, I can live with that. Everything else about this is just so cool that I can't wait to see it painted up and everything. So very cool. We get some Primaris scouts with sniper rifles. Again, awesome. And then on the Black Legion side, we have this guy, which we've known about for a while. We get some new Chosen or Chaos Space Marines. A new, what I originally thought based on the art was a Hellbrute, is actually a new Obliterator model, which is, I think this is a huge step up from the previous iteration. Just a fantastic sculpt. I love how they kind of bring in some of the elements of the Hellbrute into the armor here. It looks fantastic. I mean, I don't know how you could complain about that thing. It looks super cool. And then kind of the coup de grace of the Black Legion lineup is this new spider like war machine here. So it's called the Venom Crawler. Yeah, it's called the Venom Crawler. It looks really cool. It has lots of different guns on it. I don't really know what this would do aside from, I mean, maybe it's kind of like a generalist blight drone or something like that. Is kind of what I would expect to see. Maybe a little bit more close combat themed than a blight drone. But yeah, something like that is my guess. But still very cool. And the thing about these box sets, though, so I mean, this is only a subset of the models that are going to be released, so we don't know the full lineup on either side. But these box sets try to balance things. So if we're going to have this Venom Crawler here, that means we're probably going to have something big for the Primaris too. And so I wonder what that is. Similarly with the Obliterator here, we're going to have something big on the Primaris side there as well. So I think there's some really interesting models that could be coming out with this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is where we start to see Primaris bikers as well. They could kind of fit in with the stealthy theme of the list, or the fast attack kind of theme of the list. So I think we could see some really cool models on both sides here, in addition to these amazing models we've already seen. And then they're going to do another community survey. That's cool. They're coming out with more Sisters of Battle stuff. So here's a preview. Again, a fantastic sculpt. I mean, I don't think anyone has to say how excited they are for Sisters of Battle to come out. It's just going to be a fantastic line, super detailed, fantastic miniatures, and they're gonna sell out, right? I mean, they're just going to be a huge win for Games Workshop when they finally hit shelves. Warhammer Heroes, we have a bunch of people that have been nominated, or I guess elected. I don't know how you want to awarded as Warhammer Heroes, which is fantastic. There's a few familiar names on here for you. And then one more thing. They did a classic Steve Jobs here, and that is that they are doing Abaddon. Abaddon of the Spoilers coming back, right? And we had expected that for a while based on some box art. You could kind of see parts of his model in the background. So this is not unexpected, but very welcome. I love the joke here that he's a Primaris lieutenant, which is not inaccurate, right? So he's probably in Primaris scale, and just you can tell right away that this is going to be a cool model. I wish they gave us a full preview of him, a full view of the model, but there's a few things here that you can pick out, right? Like all the details are there, all the war gear is there. It's fantastic. It still has the classic red hair, and yeah, it's going to be great. I just I'm excited to see the full model. Is all at this point. This is just a tease. So, yep. I guess we have 26 days to go until we find out. So that's it. That's everything we found out from the LVO preview. Like I said, it's a lot of cool stuff. I was expecting maybe a little bit more of a array of things. I kind of was expecting Abaddon. I wasn't expecting necessarily all this new stuff for Primaris here, which I guess is probably naive, because Primaris are kind of a staple release at this point, that they're just going to keep pumping stuff out for Primaris. But yeah, overall very cool. We'll probably see some new Chosen here based on this art, right? And then I guess, I don't know, these guys mostly look pretty uniform to me. I don't see a huge array in loadouts for these guys. Maybe a new like kind of captain guy, but yeah. Overall very exciting. And I can't wait to see this stuff finally roll out and get some actual details on some of the stuff that they've alluded to here. So let me know what you think about the LVO preview. Were you excited? Were you underwhelmed? Where do you stand on the kind of the continual release of systems here with the addition of Warcry to the already long list of different systems? How do you feel about that? And as always, thank you and happy wargaming. Hey everyone, this video is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider joining our community over there as well. Special thanks to Shifty, Nick Steele, Tao Oswell, Scott Heater, Jared Egler, Jake Johnson, Stephen Cohen, Scott J. Smith, Eric Jackson, Benjamin, Chris Kessler, RP, Julian Peck, Peter Benjamin Parker, Andy M. Young, and Giovanni DiMaggio.